very rich that we're gonna have new Kardashian. Like, there's just talks of the new Kim Kardashian sex like scenes that
Mm.
could come out, and her lawyer is gonna suppress them. And the guy who owned them is like, this could be really bad. It would change the way we view their family, and you know what's happening like soon, right?
What's happening soon?
The new show is debuting on Hulu.
Oh yeah, it already is, I think.
Oh, it's already out?
Hmm.
So there we go. So that's why this stuff is happening. We're talking about Kim Kardashian and her sex scenes, but we know it's the rollout because we can't trust anything that the Kardashian family does because everything they do is to build the Kardashian brand or bring viewers to whatever they're putting out. I mean, hell, there was a post last week about Chloe clapping back at people for saying she picks her kid up too much.
I didn't hear about
Yeah, so apparently, like when they're out in public, Chloe's like always carrying her daughter, but she's like, man, it's cameras, people flash, it's so much going on that it's easier to carry her through the chaos. But the problem with, I guess, what people's problem is that the kid looks like a damn Amazon. Chloe's 6 foot, spawn of OJ. And then the dad, Tristan Thompson, he's 6'10. So I guess the baby walking around 3 foot at 2 years old. So I, you know what I'm saying? The people like, why you got that big ass kid and it's really like a baby?
that. Yeah, but they would talk shit about her even if she wasn't carrying her baby.
Oh yeah, I
You're
mean,
not a good mom. Oh, you're doing too much.
well, yeah, obviously. Now I personally don't have any comments on Chloe's parenting skills because who am I to judge a parent? Even though I'm probably going to talk shit about parents at some point in this pod. But hey, 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 it's the B baby, and I'm back. So we're back, man. Episode 173. 173. It's probably gonna be another two-part episode. I don't know. We'll see how we get going. But anyways, now I get it, man. So I came on here, I guess it was what 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. It was the one, it was the first pod I recorded while you were here, but you weren't on the pod yet.
So 2 weeks ago.
So 2 weeks ago. Okay, make sure you're talking into that mic. It's not coming in clean. Anyway, so I was on here talking about the death of chivalry, and I started off trying to shit on women for like killing chivalry and men trying to do the right things for the right reasons. And even if that right reason is to start a conversation and possibly have sex with a woman, I didn't think anything was wrong with that personally, as long as if the advance is not received and the guy goes, okay, sorry, you're not interested, I'll walk away. That was my original take and my original approach to it. And then last week, sometimes reality has a way of just hitting you in your face and bringing certain things close to home. And I was out of town and I had a washer and dryer delivered to the house. And would you like to take over the story from here?
Um,
All right, so here's what happened. I'm at a conference doing some great things for the job, planning out some stuff. I mean, just really, really, really doing some good stuff. And I get a text like, "Hey, the washer delivery driver's not here yet." And I go, "Oh shit, they actually just hit me up." Cuz I got a call from a number I didn't know, so I just ignored it and was like, "Who is this?" So then I call and they're like, "Yeah, man, we're here with your washer and dryer." I go, "Hey, delivery guy's there right now, so they should be coming up. Are you ready to take the story now or you want me to keep going?"
so the guy knocks on the door. I put the dogs in the cage, and he immediately goes full on. I don't even have the door open all the way, and he's saying, "Oh, hey, what's up, baby?" I completely shut it off, and I said, "Oh, are you here for the washer and dryer? Do you need me to sign anything?" And he says he needs to see the location of where it's going. I start showing him, and he is continuing again to try to shoot a shot. And he says, "How's your day going?" I said, "Fine. How's yours?"
See,
He,
look, see that there you go. You gave him a way in. You showed him you were interested in his day because you asked about it.
I literally do that to everyone. I work in the medical field, and I ask old patients that I that's just who I am.
Well, that young man was trying to show you who he was.
And he said, he said, "Oh, better now that I've seen you."
You know, I think I have a response to that, but it could just me be it could just be me being a jealous boyfriend. So I'll let her continue.
So I ignore it and I walk away and I let him do his thing because I'm just now moving here. So I'm unpacking. I go on, I do my thing. He continues to shoot a shot. I can't remember exactly everything that he's saying, but eventually he calls me over. I'm walking down the hallway, and instead of him waiting in the designated area,
Hold on, let's paint a picture, okay? So this apartment's a pretty nice sized apartment, and she was towards the rear of the apartment. The washer and dryer room is in the front on the porch. Like there's a washer like on the porch. I mean, it's an enclosed room, but on the porch. So when you walk in, you hang that sharp left, go straight to the patio in the washroom. There's not a reason for you to go more than what 7 feet deep
I was gonna
into
say
the
5.
right. You shouldn't go 2 steps into the apartment and go left. You shouldn't
Yeah,
go past. You shouldn't be even with my couch.
not at all.
Granted, y'all don't know what the couch looks like because we don't record pods in the living room.
So he comes to the front of the hallway and basically kind of positions his body to a point where I would have to like maneuver around him in order to get to the door, which I left the front door open to not give any other signals.
So what you're saying
Um,
was for you to get by him, you're gonna have to put your ass or your titties on his body.
yeah, or my hand to like push him away,
Okay,
to like
so
move him out of the way. And that is that I also had there was obstacles. There was a chair in the way. There was multiple boxes because like I said, I was unpacking, and he still made his way over there.
but what about your commitment to me? That should have been the biggest obstacle. Talking about chairs and all
Right.
this other stuff. I'm out of town
Right.
doing the Lord's work, and you over here getting fly with the delivery guy.
So he even asked at one point because there's a part that's missing, and I asked him, "How does that work once I get the part from maintenance here in the apartment complex?"
Yeah,
And
don't tell him where we live.
I'm not. So he says, "Do you have a man? It's easy. Do you have a man that in the house?" And I said, "Yes."
Hold on. He knew there was a man in the house because the delivery was in my name. He called me. I talked to him and I said, yeah, I said, hey, I'm not at home, but my girlfriend is there.
He also didn't know that you were a black man because when the dogs were barking, he was like, "Oh, you ain't never seen a black man before, huh?"
Oh yeah, nah, they don't seen black men, they just didn't like you.
Exactly. They were going nuts. Nuts.
Hold on, Ghost was barking too?
Oh yeah, and he's not a barker like that.
Nah, Ghost barked for no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, except when he got to use the bathroom, but usually when he be barking, like if he's continuously barking, he just
He's doing it because he's playing most
yeah,
of the time, like chasing his own tail.
yeah. Again, for no reason. Where yeah, a lot of y'all don't know the gooch, but when anybody gets close to the house, if he don't know you, he goes ham. And so yeah, again, small talk like, oh yeah, you probably seen no black people before. Man, he ain't no racist dog. He just don't like cornballs. Let me stop. Let me continue your story, please.
So he takes, because he's right there. My dogs don't like it. We have very protective, and we have security dogs. And he motions for me to go out onto the deck where the washer and dryer
You said
is.
out on the dick. Emotionally on the
Dak.
dick.
Dak.
See, see if I leave
Don't,
you. See if I
no,
leave you
don't.
here again. You over here remaking Pornhub scenes with the delivery guy and shit. You ain't been here 2 weeks and you already doing your best Pornhub impersonation. See what happens when you leave the house, fellas?
No. He motioned me towards the deck where the washer and dryer is. And instead of, we go over there because it is loud. I can barely hear him. He's talking over. I'm thinking that's it. We're just going to go over there. He's going to tell me what he needs to say. No, this fool slides the whole sliding door all the way closed, which it's kind of hard to close that door. And so he slides it all the way and he's standing right there in front of the door talking. Luckily, because I was unpacking, I had my little Batman knife. And so as he was talking, I was pointing with the knife saying, okay, so, basically confirming everything that he was saying.
So you threaten him with the little Batman knife, but I get threatened with the meat cleaver. Tell you what, boy.
So as soon as he was done, done talking, I open up the sliding door and I go back inside. I let him do his thing. His homie driver comes in too. I just get very uncomfortable, and I'm a person that can really feel energy and I know when something's wrong. So I get on the phone with my friend. She's hearing everything that's happening.
Hold on. No, you gotta bring it back.
Why?
Because first you like, can you talk?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Right.
I'll call so and so. And then you call me like 2 minutes later.
Yeah, I called you in between. I put my friend on hold because it got a little too, when both of them were here, it just was a little too much and it just seemed a little sus. So I called him to make sure that they knew they were in the house. And so I just acted as if I was relaying the message of what parts needed to be done. And I made sure to, say his name to make sure that they knew. And then, he was at work. He was busy. So I couldn't, he had to hang up. I'm still on the phone with my friend and they're leaving because they couldn't even do the job. So all of that, it was like an hour and all of that for them to not even plug anything up. They just brought it up here and just put it in there.
For all I know, they hijacked the darn delivery truck and just came on up here because ain't nothing hooked up. Ain't nobody called about the parts that they supposed to be bringing back out. I'm not gonna talk bad about the company who did it, but I'm on y'all ass.
So he's like I said, making every advance that he could. Well, verbal. And then he goes to give me a hug.
And you returned it.
Yeah, it was a side hug. I'm awkward in those situations. I don't know what to do. Yes, that sounds dumb now. Like hindsight, yes. It's dumb.
Like right now.
But I didn't know what to do. I was very uncomfortable. I didn't want anything to be a trigger to him to eventually, get any type of way.
Yeah, you should trigger that meat cleaver.
So I just gave him like a little pat and then I stepped back. And he asks, "Are you still on the phone with your man?" And I said, "No." Because I'm also very truthful. Instead of saying that I was on the phone with my friend, he just wanted to know to make sure that I was not on the phone with you. And then says, "Oh, well, I wish I could spend more time with you." Oh, because I let him know. I said, "No, but he's on his way home right now."
Nothing.
Oh, and he's on his way home right now. So to kind of give him a warning of he's going to be here any second. And so that's when he says, I would, what did he?
I wish I could spend more time with you. So then she texts me and she tells me this stuff, right? So then I take a break from work. Hard work too. Let me tell you. I step outside. And because, the parts and stuff were Right. I was like, let me get a explanation because she was also like nervous and shit telling me the story. So I'm taking in what she's saying, but at the same time, it's a bunch of stuff going on in here to where I wanted to just make sure I could get the story from him. Cause she said, "Oh yeah, he not." I heard somebody knock on the door and Gucci is still barking. And if ain't nobody outside, Gucci don't bark for no reason. Again, Gucci does not bark for no reason, and especially the bark that he was doing. So I called, bro. I was like, "Hey, yeah, my girlfriend said y'all just left, but y'all couldn't install it. So what was the problem?" And he on the phone, stuttering and breathing hard, and I'm sitting there like, "The hell happened to him? He either done got caught or he running from something." I was like, I'm on my way home. I want to stop by Home Depot and get all the stuff taken care of, so I can wash my clothes tonight. And all you gotta do is this right here. Then he just clicked. And you know me, I sure wait on that customer review phone call. And I went Karen on his ass. Yes, sir. When they said, "Well, how satisfied were you with your service?" Not at all. Well, what was the problem? Well, they were missing a part, so they couldn't even hook up the washing machine. And I understand that the other piece that they needed was my maintenance man has to do here at the apartment complex. So not their fault, but still, you expect that when you get a washer and dryer delivered, that you're gonna be able to wash and dry clothes when they leave. And that didn't happen. And then your driver made multiple advances at my woman. Now, he can make his advances because she's a nice looking woman, and I made my advances. I ain't mad about him making. I ain't too mad about him making an advance because she handled herself the way that she's supposed to. I mean, I gave her a little bit of coaching on the back end. I ain't gonna talk about it on here on the podcast. So if this happens again, because a nigga gonna try again. Sorry, excuse my language. But I was like, he in somebody's house trying to make advances. That's supposed to be they safe space where they feel comfortable. And now your driver's making us the customer feel uncomfortable, and that is totally unprofessional and unacceptable. And as far as I'm concerned, this will be my last purchase from this organization, from this company. I just don't feel comfortable because y'all just let anybody deliver y'all's products. Sure did, surely did. Went right Karen on his ass, and I do it again. But we told that story to say, for one, I thought it was a pretty entertaining story. Also, let's go to the pre-production meeting. I wanted to talk some more, like really just give feedback and stuff like that. So I let her kind of tell a story just to get her warmed up on the mic. You can't tell them everything. Sometimes you got to, how sometimes the coach, he pulls them little buttons and pushes the buttons and pulls little triggers, little Geppetto over here every now and then. Sometimes you got to do that to give people the confidence in themselves that you have in them. Because I got confidence in my sensations. And but I said all of that to say that as a man, I'm blind to some of the things that men do and how it makes women feel. Sometimes I see it very well and I'm dismissive because I think that's okay to do at times too. Like I do think it's okay to dismiss how people feel about certain stuff. Um, but it was like, dang, I was just talking about this chivalry stuff and how women were afraid to accept chivalry from guys, especially close to their house, because that's supposed to be their safe space. And they're worried about a creep making them uncomfortable in their house. Then lo and behold, I got a guy who is doing his job. I mean, he wasn't even being chivalrous. He was just doing his job. He was supposed to bring that wash and dry up them steps with them hand trucks and not be banging it on the way down without nothing on there, making up noise, disrupting my neighbors and shit, pissing my dogs off. And he was just doing his job, but then he made a woman feel uncomfortable in her house. So for me, I learned. I learned. And does it totally change how I feel about guys shooting their shots? No. Or guys just being chivalrous? No. But it does give me a different level of understanding that I lacked because of my man brain, because, I don't understand what women go through, nor do I profess to understand what women go through. But that was not supposed to last 20 minutes. Okay, so anyways, Soho Karen, as we were prepping for the show, because yeah, we prepped for the show. I got her right and stuff too. Now we ain't even just out here thugging it. I saw that Soho Karen finally got sentenced. Okay, let's see. Let me find it. You know, don't you just hate when Instagram? Here we go. So here we go. On April 11th, 23-year-old Poncetta, that's the last name, pled guilty to unlawful imprisonment in the second degree as a hate crime after she accused then 14-year-old Keon Harold Jr. of stealing her phone. The December 26, 2020 incident was caught on camera and showed Poncetta verbally and physically attacking Harold Jr. in the Arlo Soho Hotel. While she has since admitted she mistakenly accused Harold Jr. of stealing her phone, she continues to deny any truth to the claim that she racially profiled him. Her lawyer says she has accepted a deal from prosecutors where she'll avoid prison. While entering a guilty plea, she's agreed to live a law abiding life for 2 years, just 2 years. She's got to follow the law. She will also continue therapy and follow the remaining terms of her probation while living in California. Additionally, should she be able to keep out of trouble for the next 2 years, she will be able to withdraw her felonious guilty plea and replead to aggravated harassment in the second degree, a misdemeanor charge. However, if she gets into trouble again, she'll be looking at up to 4 years in prison. Okay. I want to look at this in two different ways because I want to say it is a big loss in race relations, but I would say that it is a victory in what criminal justice reform should look like. Hear me out. It's a loss because she gets to go cyber Karen and we capture it online and nothing is really done about it. So it goes, okay, here's a felony, a conditional felony. So after you stay out of trouble for 2 years, you go to therapy, you get your mentals right, and drop it down to a assault misdemeanor. Woo! Now imagine if he would have actually taken her phone. Do you think that he would have got the benefit of the doubt of, hey, we're gonna put you on probation for 2 years, you go see a counselor, and since that would be a misdemeanor, after that you can reapply to have your record sealed.
Definitely not.
Exactly. So I say it's a step back in race relations because just what, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, we were celebrating the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill, making lynching a federal hate crime. Well, what Soho Karen just did was a federal hate crime, but now it's conditional. You see, like, you got to stop. We've got to stop celebrating these small fake policy victories because there's always an out. And if you got the right lawyer, if you're the right person, then you get that way out instead of taking your ass in to the pen where you need to be. Because sometimes for somebody like a Soho Karen, you know why she needs to go to prison? You know why?
Why?
Because she needs to know that what she did was, for one, not okay. Two, there's consequences for your actions. And three, sometimes you have to be made an example of for your actions. In order to make that policy thing right, to make people care about these hate crimes, sometimes you have to go the extra mile. That's why it's a hate crime, not just a crime. So it bothers me, and I'm not gonna say it perplexes me because it doesn't perplex me because this is America, but it really bothers me to see stuff like that happen. And it hurts me even more because we will celebrate these policies that are supposed to curb racism, that are supposed to stop racism. And I say policies, laws, they don't change minds. You can have the law, but if you don't change the mind of the people, Whether it's the person breaking the law, whether it's the person enforcing the law, whether it's the judge or the jury, who gives a damn if they all say, oh, well, no, she just made a mistake. She thought he stole his phone and he was the likely subject.
Why was he the likely subject?
He was a young guy, maybe in a store that he didn't look like he could maybe shop there. And, you know, young kids do dumb things sometimes. So maybe it was just, she just assumed it was the young kid.
No. I mean, I read that the manager of the hotel was also involved in profiling him and, telling him like give her phone back without questioning, without trying to figure out or diffusing the altercation. He just automatically went on Soho Karen's side.
So let
And so now the family the family, I guess, is suing the hotel and the manager or whatever because of him also.
As they should. Like, they deserve to get sued. I would take her to civil court if I were him because of what she did and how she painted him in a negative light. And yeah, that's defamation. I'm sorry. I'm coming after your ass. It's, false accusations, so on and so forth. Um, I'll tell you a good lesson I was taught a long time ago, that if there's ever a false allegation levied against you, once it's cleared, you should fire back at them, because that even furthermore publicly will prove your innocence. Because why would I sue somebody for besmirching my character for no reason?
Yeah.
Because you can beat it and people will always can question it. Well, oh, they bad lawyer, not enough evidence, but I still believe it happened. But if I come back after you, would I really be going to these links just to make a point? Some people maybe, but not me. But here's where I say it's a victory for criminal justice. Her sentence makes sense if everyone else could get that same sentence. Period. Okay. If we could take smaller, more petty crimes and say, here's a reasonable amount of time of probation. I think 2 years is reasonable. To say, hey, don't do anything crazy. Show that you're like a good person, a good human being, a good, you're contributing to society. Go get some treatment and then continue to live your life without this felony mark on your record, right? Because if that felony were to stick, put her actions in a vacuum.
Mm.
Is what she did on the same level as some other felonies, like money laundering, RICO, rape, murder, armed robbery, no, but a felony nonetheless. But now, if we
Mhm.
take it out of that vacuum, if we're saying uh, using race as a means to falsely accuse somebody, I mean that's as bad as it gets, because there are
Yeah.
people who get falsely accused of worse crimes, and all of them can't afford to fight it. So they take a plea because they know if it goes to trial, they can lose their whole life for something that they did not do.
Yeah.
And that's scary. So I kind of I just wish more criminals would get that option, and they would have more means to provide those options to them, because for her, it happened in Soho and it's in New York. Um, and so with what kind of money she has, for one, she gets to stay in California. That's not where the crime was committed, but who cares? Um, and she can afford a therapist. She can afford all of that, right? Every criminal can afford that. Every human being can afford that. So if they can't afford it, or they don't have the insurance that can cover it for them, what legitimate therapeutic opportunities, right? Can we provide to people so that, they work on how to deal with stuff, go to get anger management. Cause I'm willing to bet most like assault and battery cases, a lot of times those are just people who don't know how to channel their anger,
Yeah.
especially the aggressors, they just don't know how to either walk away or keep themselves calm when they're provoked,
Mhm.
so I just think it's something to think about. But while we're sitting here on, mental health being a part of keeping people out of prison, we have the sad, unfortunate stabbing of the influencer couple, Miss OnlyFans. I'm not gonna say her name. I'm not gonna say his name. Honestly, I can't pronounce his name, and I don't want to say his name wrong because I think that's totally disrespectful. So instead of saying his name wrong, I'm just not gonna say it. So here we go. Here we go. So allegedly, this OnlyFans star is social media influencer who I'd never heard of until this came out, because as much as I'm on social media, I realize I don't live in the social media world of social media. I live in like the real world of social media, probably because I'm not active on TikTok and I'm not on OnlyFans paying for porn. You know, I subscribe to my Patreon now, Big Baby, to go on Patreon. Y'all can pay for these pods. That's all we're putting on there. We're not. You're not. We're not putting any porn on Patreon or OnlyFans. I don't have an OnlyFans yet. I might make one though for podcasts.
OnlyFans for podcasts?
Yeah, that's so the original intent for OnlyFans is really for only fans. It's for only my fans, right?
Mhm.
So it's a way to monetize your content, but it became a very easy place for porn stars to monetize their content, because a lot of times they're doing work, but you got the companies, whatever, who's taking a lot of money from them. So
Mhm.
now they're getting an opportunity to take their content, own their content, give OnlyFans like a small little fee of what they receive from that. And if you're more than just a porn star and you maybe want to be you're maybe in that escort range,
Mhm.
then you can take that to also have, different people you meet on there to like pay for you, like pay for exclusive videos. And then, they pay for enough exclusive videos. I'm sure you can get you a meetup.
Yeah.
So it's just the underworld of sex work. But the intent is to have a content creator put out their content and be able to give it to the consumer and charge them for
Okay.
it. You just over here think about, I don't know about that. It's still OnlyFans. There's a stigma associated with OnlyFans. Like, I can't put OnlyFans like link in bio. Uh-uh. Not gonna be like, ooh, we're gonna come see the sensation on OnlyFans. Ooh, she over
The
some
washer and
shit.
dryer guy would pay
Man,
for that.
stop it. But anyways, so the some of the stuff starts to come out about it, and people love to rush to the internet, rush to their group text, rush to anywhere with these strong definitive opinions on what's going on. And I'm like, let's see, I don't know. I usually think that people don't kill somebody for no reason, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that the reason makes it okay to kill. Okay, so let's start there. I'm not victim shaming, victim blaming. I'm not defending the young lady who allegedly murdered her boyfriend. I don't know what happened because I wasn't there. I didn't watch it. Okay, now I find it interesting, that she was able to, she was taken into custody, but she was out in like 24 hours. I mean, it happened in Florida, where Florida has their own weird set of laws that I don't think too much of anybody um follows. I mean, they barely follow them, but they have
Mhm.
different laws. And honestly, the law again that she was able to be let out on, it's a good law if it makes sense. But my problem is, so let me explain the law. She was able to be released because of her mental health. Pretty much, she was like, "Hey, I'm not in the right frame of mind. I'm afraid that if I'm here in this jail, that I could do some serious harm to myself." Probably, probably, and I forgot. And honestly, I forgot the name of the law that allowed her to go free, and I don't feel like looking it up. But yeah, so I could see if now let's think about this. You're dating somebody, you kill them, even if you kill them in cold blood.
Mhm.
As you're processing that, and if you truly cared about that human being, you're processing the loss of somebody you care about. You're processing the fact that you took life from somebody. You're processing that you took life from somebody that you cared about. And you're also processing what's going to happen to you because you did this. I would put anybody who went through that on suicide watch.
Right.
But I'm willing to bet if the tables were turned, and not even because of race, also the man allegedly, if a man allegedly killed, or not allegedly, if a man killed his woman, right? Because we're not just talking about this, we're bringing out the conversation a little bit further. If the man kills the woman, he goes, "Oh, I'm going through it. I'm going crazy, 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 because I can't hold you. I'm crazy, crazy, crazy." And they're gonna say, "Okay, send him to the hole." And instead of getting out to be able to have some normalcy, we're going to put you in solitary confinement, where in solitary confinement, it's going to be hard to kill yourself, but you're going to go crazier and crazier and crazier because you're in solitary confinement. So I just think this situation is so layered. And I just found it as an interesting discussion piece. Because all of y'all got these strong opinions about something that doesn't even affect you all, and you don't know the details. So, I'm gonna beat up on y'all for that because that's what I come here to do. And another thing, man, let's see. And I don't know if we're like the right people to talk about this, because for the people who don't see you, would you like to tell the world what your nationality is?
I'm Salvadorian from Central America.
All right. So when you get into these conversations about black men and black women, some people disqualify me because my sensation is not a. Oh, I should not say that. I want to say because my sensation is not a black woman.
Oh.
But if you like cut that clip, Big Baby the Goat says his sensation is not black women. No, no, no. That's what I call her on the podcast, and she's not a black woman. You understand what I'm saying? I love black women. I've dated black women. I gotta put all that out there. I'm attracted to black women. Okay, like I just happen to fall in love with a woman who is not black. It's not like I went out here looking for someone who's not black. I didn't say, "Oh, I love you because you ain't black." It's like, no, you're just cool people, and huh? That's funny. But anyways, so I'm saying that to like create this conversation so y'all have the full context of the conversation, because I don't even know if she's gonna touch it. And out of respect for black women, she don't want to be like, well, who is her? Who is she gonna say this? Who is that being? You know how that can happen. I probably shouldn't say that either, but fuck it. Um, so, anyways, yeah, she had like a tweet, or she was on a podcast talking about how she dates rich black guys. She only dates rich black guys, and social media got mad about that. Like, see what happens? You see what happens when you get you one of them? They kill you. And then he had some tweets from a long, long time ago, speaking to, he was speaking to the fact that he wasn't the biggest fan of black women and he has his preference, which everybody's entitled to their preference. Date who you date, but I just don't think that you should degrade other women just because you like a certain type of woman. And don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of it too. I am guilty of talking shit about women who I'm not attracted to. And it's usually not race based, it's usually weight based, but that's a conversation for another day, okay? But I have my preference and I can have that preference. And I will continue to have my preferences, okay? So when the people switched up or go, well, he got what he deserved, I go, bro, what? So because somebody's not attracted to you, they deserve to die? Huh? Do you know how you sound? Do you know how insecure that is? Hey, so what if he's not attracted to you? You hadn't even met him. You don't even know him. You didn't shoot your shot at him. There's a guy right now in your inbox blowing your shit up right now, and you want nothing to do with him. So if you have a car accident tomorrow, he should say, well, she got what she deserved because she ain't want me. I know sometimes we try to make these conversations, these large, vague conversations, but I want to make it very specific. Because if you're saying that somebody deserves to die because they're a black man who's not attracted to black women, then it should be a lot of dead people. I almost said that word. A lot of dead people. If that's your thought. And let's bring it out a little bit more. If somebody's not aligned to what I'm aligned to, then who cares if they live? That's what you're telling me. Am I over sensationalizing this by saying that?
Um, no, but I think you're kind of minimizing it in a way because it's not just that he said he's not attracted to black women. He was saying he was also, from what I've seen,
Okay.
I saw tweets that seemed like they were particular to whoever he was around at the time in the classroom and so forth. And he was specifically talking about that woman. And he he said, yeah, he said some rude things like in his tweets, but I mean, I don't know. It's more than just the I'm not attracted to black women. So I think
So
more so.
is it because of the expression of it and the rudeness tied behind it? Because it, in the way that it was presented,
Hmm.
was demeaning.
Yes.
So every person who demeans you or demeans what you stand on, it's okay if they die.
Oh no, I would never wish death upon anyone, not even my worst enemy. That's just not me. So, I mean, I feel like that's a bit extreme. Um, that's my own opinion about it. It's a bit extreme, but I understand. It's not something that is just about, oh, I'm not attracted.
So I mean, and here's where I think we get where a few things I think people should do. Accept that people aren't gonna like you, and no matter what your reasons are for that, like
Mhm.
no, they can be dead ass wrong.
Mhm.
That's a them problem, not a you problem.
What's the saying? You can be the juiciest, brightest, or something peach in the whole world, and there's someone out there that's still not gonna like peaches.
Yeah, some people allergic to them. They can't even help that they don't like them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think that people should. Golly, stop doing this so much. But I just think people need to stop thinking they matter so much. Like you just don't matter that much. And honestly, the stuff that you're saying about him, especially somebody who's dead, does not matter that much, even if he's wrong. Like demeaning black women for the sake of other women is trash. It's caca. Booyah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't cool at all.
Right.
So we don't want to just act like, you know what I'm saying, that that his behavior is okay, but it's not means for death. Okay, you know what, dude? Like who you like, and if you don't like somebody, then leave them be. Big baby, let Lizzo live. Okay, let her live until she start crying again on social media. So then you can go rip her ass again because she want to cry about people not liking her. Okay, but that's a conversation for another day. And you know, we another thing we talked about is how, you know, she's getting beat up on. You know, and they some people were triggered because she was seen at a bar drinking, and it's like, if you're not mentally sane, why are you out? Maybe she's a socialite and an alcoholic, and that's how she copes. I don't know. Or am I just over here just giving her too much of a pass?
Yeah, you are.
I mean, I'm just asking a question because don't get me wrong, I don't want to see anybody in a bar a couple days after they kill somebody. Like, oh, get away from me, killer. And two, optically, it plays terribly, and people are gonna see you, and they're gonna air you out. So that was dumb. But again, to take it off from her and put it on a bigger conversation, who are you to tell me how to deal with my mental health when I'm going through something? That's a question to you.
Oh, what do you mean? Like,
If
explain a little bit more.
okay, so if I'm going through something,
Mm-hmm.
right, and I mean, I can personalize it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm down and out and I'm really having a bad day, I'm probably gonna come home from work, walk the dogs, play video games, and then go to the bar
Yeah.
because I want to get out of the house, be amongst people, not really with them though. Like I mean, trying to really talk to these motherfuckers. I'm just trying to be amongst people and just recharge, then come back. That's typically how I deal with stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now, put the shoe on you. What would you do?
I retreat. I do the complete opposite. I'll put my headphones on and just be in my own little world. I don't like to be around people or anything.
So let's pat ourselves on the back though,
Mm,
because through 2 years together,
mm,
we've learned how each of us deals with stuff. And instead of trying to make you cope the way that I cope, and instead of you trying to make me cope the way that you cope, we usually just give each other space to cope and then come back to deal with whatever it is, whether it's a problem between you and I or just a problem in life. You know,
mhm.
the big step that we just have to take is to communicate that they're the problem.
Yeah.
And then, hey, I'm coping right now. It ain't you, or it is you, but I gotta go cope, okay?
I just think it's really funny because I mean, I'll just be vulnerable. Like we just had an incident today. So we literally used our coping skills today and we're complete opposites.
Yeah,
And then once we have our time, we come back together and it's okay.
yeah,
And like we talk about it. It's not like it's gonna just go under the rug. Well, sometimes it goes under the rug, but
I mean, look here. Here's the thing, though. It's okay for something to go under the rug, right? That's why you have to vacuum, and that's why, you know, if you have like a no shit rug that you pull up,
mm,
that's why when you clean that room, you pick the rug up because sometimes you find stuff under the rug that you didn't know was there. So that's when you clean that stuff up because we've had problems that we came back to a month later, months later. Hell, I found out some stuff from years ago, last week, in between recording podcasts, about some of those people who said that I was interested in them.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know all that. I didn't know how them people's telling you that stuff.
Mm.
But you, I mean, but whatever. Hey, can, let's have a conversation about that. Let's have not about that specifically. Those specific people, right?
Uh-huh.
Get to a little bit of vulnerability here. I am a natural flirt, right?
Mhm.
And you've seen me flirt, then told me I was flirting, and I told you in my brain I am not flirting right now.
But you just admitted you're a natural flirt.
I know, but I'm saying like where my brain and like my intentions are in the conversation, in the action, in the demeanor, right? I'll tell you that like, hey, like, oh yeah. Now that you say it, I realize how that came off, but bro, I was just talking, trying to get a stiff rapport. I was just trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't even thinking. I was just being conversational.
Mhm.
And then you and I, hey yo, look, so she wanted to take a little sip of the liquor, right? So she don't drink tequila. So she's like, hold on, I need a little bit for this conversation. So then she grabs the tequila, she's about to sip, and I don't say nothing. I'm trying to talk. No dead air here. And she's like, oh no. Here, get you some ultra. But anyways, I be flirting, and then like I don't be meaning to flirt, and I don't even sometimes realize that I'm flirting. And sometimes if I catch it, I'll reel it in. And where we differ is the reception of the flirt. Because I say, and this is probably because I am a man, and we have to be a bit more forward when it comes into pursuing someone, especially while we're younger. But then also, if you're not interested, you just aren't interested. And I think, and maybe not specific to you, but I think that you hear stories about how a woman like, oh well, I didn't really want to do it with him, but like I just felt pressured, and like I'm not saying he raped me, he didn't rape me. I just had sex with somebody that I didn't want to because I wasn't comfortable getting out of that situation. And I think that, I mean, yeah, we can tie it back to delivery guy, that you weren't as comfortable being as like, hey yo, nah, back the fuck up, bro, chill, as a man probably would be towards a woman he's not interested in. Or just knowing that I don't feel like a woman can rape me, right?
Mhm.
But women feel like a lot of men could rape them, just physically, because you know what I'm saying, we built different.
Yeah.
So we'll have these conversations about flirting, and there'll be instances where I'll bring her somewhere and then it gets awkward, but it had never been awkward before she came. And not because her existence wasn't known, like known about, right? But it never just been in the room, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I can't control what she thinking. And I ain't interested. So because I ain't interested, she can want all she want, but she ain't gonna get shit. And that's how my man brain processes it. And now I'm learning that even if what I say is true, that doesn't mean that that particular human being is receiving what I'm giving based upon what I'm giving and what I'm saying. And specifically as bartenders, because I be wanting to get cheap drinks and I give nice tips to bartenders who give me cheap drinks, heavy pours. You go heavy pour, cheap tab, big tip, okay? I mean, that's just a fail-proof formula. But unbeknownst to me, that means I want to fuck you, bartender. And to me, it's I want to be your favorite customer, bartender, because I take care of you, you take care of me. I'm here to get drunk, you're here to get paid. Works for everybody. Until you bring your girlfriend in, then it's
Hold up, you baby. Hold up, you baby.
so the floor is yours. We're taking copious notes.
um so you using the excuse of I'm a natural flirt. Like I was the same way. I was a natural flirt and I still do have those tendencies because they don't really go away.
Yeah, the
You
delivery guy caught the vibe.
you control you control it though. So I used to get that all the time. What I tell you is you don't see how you're flirting with these people and how they see it this way because I used to get it all the time. And I would literally just same response as you. No, that's not what it is. I'm literally just being nice. I'm being a friend. It's not like that. And laughing at these people thinking that they're crazy. And then I actually start to kind of examine my behavior and I'm like, oh, yeah, that is kind of flirty. So you learn if you want to, you learn to kind of, you know, not
So,
be a little bit more aware. You learn to be aware.
am, am I becoming more aware?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
you are. You're becoming more aware. You're becoming more you're taking ownership of it too.
And
You're not like sitting here and just acting as if
I think the part about it that I truly struggle with is the giving a fuck about how it makes them feel.
yeah, definitely.
Because man, trying to say this without saying too much. But you talk about people who spoke to you before, and this is before we got together early on, and about me trying to pursue them, right? And you no no but you see my flirty personality, but how different was that in my pursuit of you?
It wasn't. I don't feel like it was, and that's the
But
problem.
no, but how direct was I with you?
Oh yeah, no, you were very direct.
Like the go to the him, ha ha ha, kiki flirt. Yeah, no, that's just me being out amongst people. You know what I'm saying? But the first conversation we had, very direct.
Yeah,
The second conversation we had, very direct.
yeah. And then after our first like one-on-one hangout,
After the first date,
yeah, you were
very direct.
yeah, you were very direct.
And I think that's the difference that you've seen that other people haven't seen, because I wasn't going there with them. You know what I mean? So I wasn't direct with anything. I'm just over here shooting the shit, talking shit, being fly. You know what I'm saying? And
So you said something about you you can't control what she thinks, right?
I can't
You can't
control it.
control what females think.
But here's what we're gonna do, right? Okay, we're gonna continue this conversation, and we're gonna open up part 2, talking about me not being able to control what these women think.
Okay.
Hold up, you baby. Hold